Perfect. All right, so welcome to our first fall class, Fall in Love with Fall Dishes. I am personally big fan of fall and everything what comes with it, especially the food and the harvest. So today I will show you how to make three simple recipes that utilize pumpkin, or rather squashes, winter squashes. I don't know how many of you are a big fan of squashes. You can tell me. Anybody?
Me.
I love squash.
I love it too.
Okay. What kind of squashes do you like to use, or you use the most often?
I love butternut.
And I like the
butternut,
one that you can eat the skin.
It's there are so many different varieties of squashes. In the Zoom, I shared with you, if you go to the chat, there is a document, you can click on it and you will see a sort of list of different types of squashes and also a little information how to use each of them. But we'll sort of review. I have several types, so we can quickly go over and see how to cook them and what is so special about them. So generally, pumpkins belong to a sort of the winter squashes family, and they are all edible. They are fine to feed animals, and they can be eaten raw. So you will not get sick if you eat raw pumpkin. Most of them will not be that tasty, but definitely they are edible. You will not get sick. You can also use, you can eat the skin. Not every skin will be tasty. Some skin is a little bit tougher. So I will tell you which one, and you can peel it, and some you can eat with the skin when it's cooked. So, but nutritionally speaking, pumpkin or winter squashes are wonderful vegetables. They're very low in calories. 1 cup of cooked squash or pumpkin will have around 50 to 60 calories. So it's a very would wonder, oh my gosh, how about the carbs? Everybody's talking a lot about carbs. So 1 cup of cooked winter squash pumpkin will have between 12 to 14 grams of carbohydrates. So it's not that much. And out of that, 3 to 4 grams would be fiber. Depends if you eat the skin or not. But even without the skin, there's some fiber. Squashes are famous, nutritionally speaking, from content of carotenoids. Carotenoids are precursor to, or sort of a stepping stone for us to make vitamin A. And vitamin A is important for the skin, for the eyes, carotenoids as well. It's a sort of the whole family. And it's a very potent, powerful antioxidant. So we all would like to get a lot of carotenoids in our diet. And that can be, you have in the handouts, you have point out few health benefits. So one of the carotenoids have the antioxidant properties, can lower risk of different cancer, especially breast cancer, stomach and pancreatic cancer. At least that's what the research points out. May lower, doesn't mean that, but it's a good food to add to our diet. Also, it's a good source of vitamin C and potassium. And again, vitamin C plays a very important role in our immune function and also collagen production. So joint, skin, very important vitamin C. Potassium, blood pressure, fiber helps us with regularity. We all know that. So generally, you can see it's very versatile, low calories. So if someone is seeking weight loss, again, this is a wonderful vegetables to add to your diet. How you would eat the squashes. So the easiest way is to roast them. Roast them in the oven. They will get caramelized, delicious. If you roast them well, they will get a little crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. Or you can definitely put them into the soup, just like we'll be doing today. So roasting, putting into the soup. You can cut them in half and roast them as well. And you can scrape the inside and you can just use in a plate as your vegetables. Spaghetti squash is famous for using as in place of pasta with some sauces. So again, very versatile. Also pumpkin pie, very well known for Thanksgiving, muffins, cones in desserts. So there are so many applications for pumpkins, not only as a savory flavor, but also as a sort of the sweet dessert. And today we'll make a little pumpkin dip as well. So okay, you should get the message. Pumpkins or winter squashes are not only delicious, but also very, very healthy for us. Low calories, a lot of good fiber, a little bit of protein, a lot of vitamins and other nutrients. And so just go for it. Now let's review few pumpkins or few winter squashes. So the very, very famous one is, I'm gonna point it here, is butternut squash. Many of you can sort of, you can buy them anywhere. And usually I would peel the skin. I will not eat the skin. And I will show you how to cut it and how to sort of clean the squash. If you are short for time, don't be afraid to buy a squash already. Peel, cut, and cubes, good to go. Very, very, very easy. So again, this is very delicious. It's sweet. Again, hold its texture really well. I love that. This is when fall comes, literally every week I will roast one squash. I will roast, putting on the salad, just on the side, very simple. You don't need to make a big fuss out of that. You can definitely make a soup as well, just a puree with apples and a little curry or other stuff, and would be delicious. So butternut squash, remove the skin. Then we have the spaghetti squash, right? This is also easy. You can just cut in half. You put a little bit, you get the seeds out, and don't throw your seeds because you can roast them and add a crunch to your salad. Also, seeds, pumpkin seeds or squash seeds are very high in zinc. Zinc is it's a micro element that is important for immune function, skin. So we hear about, when you're cold, take your zinc, get your pumpkin seed. And also it's important in sperm production. So gentlemen, ladies, if you want your increase your sort of sperm production or quality, eat more pumpkin seeds because they are high in zinc. So anyhow, cut this pumpkin, remove the seeds, put a little bit of olive oil, put two sides, and you can microwave it, very easy, or you can roast it. And then with the fork, sort of scrape it, and you will have a beautiful sort of ribbons from the squash. Fantastic, very simple, great, again, substitute for regular pasta. And you can put sauces on it and so on. So this one, you don't eat the skin, you scrape it inside, get the spaghetti. This one, its name is kuri, and there are different types. This one, it's a sort of, I think in Japan is quite popular. it's softer. The meat is softer, but you can eat the skin. I would cut it in pieces. So again, you don't have to peel it, but you can roast with the skin and it's quite delicious. Again, I would roast it in a salad or it's great in the soups. Another famous is delicata. Very often you will see in the restaurants on the menu, it's a small squash. And what's interesting, it's delicate. It's delicate, meaning you cannot, those usually will last on your counter for the display. You can buy it and have it for a long time, but those are more delicate. So keep it for 2 weeks and use them because they will go bad very quickly. You can roast the skin with it, cut it, and that's what we're going to also use today, even though recipe calls for butternut squash, but does not matter. You can use whatever you want. So delicata squash, we have, this is a newer addition past several, I don't know, 8-10 years. It's a sort of like a butternut squash, but it's much more, it's smaller and flavor is much more concentrated. It's very orange. So the content of carotenoids in this one versus this one is much, much higher. Again, very, very sweet. You can cut it, scoop that and roast it as a half, and it's scoop it and it's absolutely delicious. And there are so many other types. This is not, actually I grow that in my garden, more decorative. It has nice colors, but it's a very similar to dumpling. Again, very sweet, different sort of delicate texture. So do not be afraid of going to supermarket and pick few squashes and sort of explore and see what can you do. But those classics one would be this, those I this is me. So okay, you had the review of the squashes. Any questions? No. So we're going to first cut the squash. So typically, again, you can buy it pre-cut, but I will cut the stem here and I will cut the head. So this is, it really gets your workout. If you didn't work out, this is the opportunity. So no lost chances. I cut it in half. And again, there are many different ways. And here basically is the seeds. So I'm going to, where is my compost? Not the compost. So you can see the seeds. You can definitely rinse them and toast them and use them in the salad that we're going to make. All right. I already have some pre-cut, but so I will not waste too much time. This is done. And this. So at this point, again, you can roast it like this, but I like to cut in squares. Hold on, let me put that here. So just cut the sort of the harder ends. All right, we have here. And you know what I found it very, very useful? The V shape peeler. But, and you just go. And you have a nice piece right here. For those who live in Boston, there was still is a Afghani restaurant. And I remember first time when I went there many years ago, I ordered a pumpkin dish for appetizers. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. But it's basically, they use sugar pumpkin as well, roasting and combined topping with like a tomato meat sauce and little yogurt with garlic and mint. Heaven. Actually, I found a recipe, and every Thanksgiving I do make that Afghani pumpkin. Simple, but it's a nice combination of sort of savory and little spiciness. Very, very nice. Again, if you want to impress someone, you could do it. So anyhow, so I'm not going to do the whole squash, but you can see, again, this is, I found it the easiest way of cutting. And this one, you go and cut, and you get basically a big block, and you can slice it this way and cut into smaller pieces. I'm going to just cut the pieces that I clean, because we're going to roast for our salad. So let me tell you about the salad, because we're gonna do that first.
Question for you. Do you know the name of that Afghani restaurant?
Afghani restaurant calls. See, I have a old ladies moments. Hellman's. There it is.
Okay. I'll have to check it.
Still in business, at least before COVID was, and they are famous from sort of lamb dishes, very delicious flavor, like Middle Eastern. They make a really nice it's not a chapati, it's not Indian, but a bread that you sort of dip a lot of mint, different cinnamon spice, different spices, very, very, I love that flavor, sort of a combination of sweetness and a little kick, a little heat. All right, so we have cut our squash here, and again, I can go more, but you know what I want to do also? I want to roast some of the delicata, and ooh, I didn't wash it. Let me wash it quickly. All right. So with delicata, again, you can buy them smaller. So it's a definitely good workout. You can involve your husband and ask him to show off his muscles. But again, you can see here the seeds, and let me save the seeds here, because I might roast them later. So the recipe that we're going to make, again, you can just roast the squash. Don't feel overwhelmed with the complexity of that salad that we're going to make. It's not that complex, but it's a basically Asian flavor salad. And the first time when I saw the recipe, it was on a cooking channel when Jamie Oliver was in his beautiful garden somewhere outside of London. And he was harvesting the squashes and made the dish with roasted duck, and was outdoor. And I was drooling, just sort of watching him. And by the way, I have a big crush on him. I always call him my, boyfriend. Remember, I don't know, for those who used to watch cooking Food Network, he was doing the Naked Chef cook show, and I love watching him because he always did it with such an ease. It was like, oh, you just pinch of this, handful of this, and then he will come up with amazing dish. So this is basically what it is. a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'm telling you, the flavors are amazing. So bottom, you get your squashes. You can get delicata, you can get your butternut squash, you can get your curry. Basically, those would be great. So I am going to just cut those with the skin, and I'm going to spray a little bit and arrange them in the on my oven, on my tray. The oven is heating up. So when you roast your squash, you want it to roast it in a higher temperature. If you put on 350, it will take you longer and it will get mushy because it's sort of going to cook. What I'm looking for, I'm more a little crunch outside, a little caramelized outside and soft inside. So I'm just use that when I use the other part later on. So anyhow, so for this, we're going to combine our squashes. So I cut 2 onions. Again, you can skip that part, but when onions is roasted, it gets that sweet flavor. So this is the secret to anything. I cut two, so it's quite a bit. I'm going to add the squash in for flavoring. You can just use a little bit of olive oil and salt and call it a day. But since we are following Jamie Oliver footsteps, what he did, he put some coriander, which is, as all you know, it's a coriander are seeds from cilantro. I even have from my garden blooming one. But so he put some coriander seeds, put a little bit of cinnamon and salt, and he loves spicy food, so he put chili. So this is what I'm going. So I have my coriander, I have some chopped chili and a little cinnamon. Again, it's not much. So you have that cinnamon little flavor, and then you have the hot chili. Again, if you do not like hot chili, skip it. What is this? Someone, okay. All right, so, and then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Now, a little tip, when you roast your vegetables, often when you go with your olive oil, you go gul, 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 gul. You're gonna end up with a lot of extra calories. So just be careful. What you also can do is use your spray. You can spray it, or just be careful how much you add to it. Okay, that's good enough. So I'm going to, the bowl should be bigger. I don't know how much you can see here, probably not that much. So this is ready for roasting. All right. So again, you do not need to add the additional spices, just salt would be perfectly fine. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt as well and toss it. Perfect. So now it's on my frying pan. Now, quick, I'm not even going to, so this is a small oven, but if you have a normal bigger size oven, you would, don't overcrowd your squashes because you're gonna get a mush. So really make sure that you, when you roast them, they are sort of one layer. But I want to put some of those as well. So as you can see, I'm going to squeeze those. Because I love delicata. If you go to any restaurant right now, they will probably serve you some kind of delicata salad with shaved Brussels sprouts or something. All right. So this is ready. And let me spray my delicata so it doesn't, it gets a little, okay, perfect. right, so 400 to 455. I do 425. 20 minutes, and then actually, Kim, can you keep a timer for me, please?
You got it. What do you want me to do?
20 minutes. Set it up for 20 minutes and let me know when 20 minutes comes.
You got it.
Excellent. So the squash is roasted. When we take it out, we'll assemble our salad. Again, the salad is based on the squash. I like to throw some greens. So we have arugula. And we're going to add some, instead of the roasted duck, I couldn't find a duck and I never eat the duck, but rotisserie chicken is just fine. So you can roast your own chicken, or you can just, buy rotisserie. This is what I did. I was busy today, so I ran quickly to the store and got one rotisserie chicken. So I shave it apart. But if you have a people over and you want to impress on like a nice sort of salad, you can roast your chicken and warm butternut squash, and you assemble the salad. It's absolutely delicious. But let's make our dressing. So for the dressing, we need limes, and using lime zest adds much more flavor. So again, I told you I have two tools that if I go travel anywhere, I usually take that with me. It's a zester. Or you can grate the cheese. If you're in a pinch, you can do your pedicure with it. Just maybe sterilize it. But it's basically I use that for zesting. So it's really easy to do it with that. So you have just the otter skin. Again, it gives a little bit more flavor. All the oils, all the flavors are concentrated on the outer part of the citrus, right? Ah, smells wonderful. So the way how I do it, I'm gonna put in a jar. I'm going to zest another one. And also the zester is fantastic if you would like to make a great garlic or any ginger. It's usually pain in the neck to chop it. But if you need a garlic that is very fine, that you need sort of almost smooshed, grating on the zester, it's a great idea and saves you a lot of time. All right, perfect. So we have the zest, and I have my clove of garlic. So you can chop it, but again, faster, easier. All right. Got the garlic. Now, ladies and probably ladies, we might not have gentlemen, we might. Let's squeeze. And look at me, I have the old school lemon squeezer. I like it. There's so many different lemon squeezers thing. All right, we have one, and you can use one lime or two. I'm going to use actually just one because I'm not making that much salad. Or you can make it and use it. Actually, since I peel it, use it for later. So typically, speaking of dressings, I seldom buy dressings because I will make it, and don't feel intimidated by making a salad dressing. It's very simple. You need something acidic. That could be lemon, lime, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, whatever rice vinegar, whatever you like. And then to that you add some oil, and it could be different oils. In this case, we're going to add a sesame oil and the regular oil. So sesame oil, it's very potent. If you like Asian food, this is your friend. All right, let me quickly check how much of the sesame oil, teaspoon. So as you can see, it's not a lot of it, but that's what will give us a lot of flavor. And toasted sesame oil, this is where you want to buy. And you can buy anywhere, any store, Stop and Shop, or any kind of store will have that. Another sort of addition to our soy sauce, we for, I think, 1 tablespoon, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1 tablespoon. Perfect. In 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Or if you feel like it's too strong, you can use avocado oil. It's very mild, right? This is olive oil sometimes could be very potent and not mashing well with Asian flavors. Perfect. So we have that. And a teaspoon of brown sugar. Don't panic. It's just a teaspoon, and it's going to just give the little. So this is my brown sugar. I already pre-measure. So here it is.
Wow.
And we have the garlic, and I chopped some onion. From the green parts, I chopped the white parts, and this is my flavoring. Again, if you don't want it, don't worry. This is totally up to you. And then if you like a little kick, which I love, a lot of kicks in my food, is red chili pepper, or if you have chopped some fresh one, doesn't matter. All right. Oh. And then that's it. So this is, it's not that complex, because when you think about it, it has lime juice, garlic. Then you have the soy sauce, sesame oil, and olive oil, and brown sugar. That's good. It's very good.
Sounds.
So guess what? I know it's. But look, what would happen if you say, "Oh my gosh, she's crazy. I would never cook something like that." Do not feel that you must go with that. Just think about the concept of assembling salad, right? So if you even have your Italian dressing and you put on your roasted butternut squash with greens, it's still going to be delicious. So again, I'm going a little bit on the adventure with you guys to do the Asian dressing. Here it is. But if you feel like, oh my gosh, this is not for me, again, use the dressings that you are comfortable with. Just lemon, garlic, and olive oil. Perfect. So, okay, so it's roasting. And what I am going to, what else we're going to add? Something crazy. We're gonna add mint, and we're gonna add some cilantro. I have tons of mint in my garden. Mint is very invasive. Oh, it starts smelling so wonderful. But again, if you would roast the butternut squash on Saturday, you could make that salad on Tuesday or Monday or whatever. It's literally, I have it in Tupperware. 1 big Tupperware of roasted squash, and then lunch comes and you say, all right, I'm gonna make my salad. You throw open a bag, you put I'm still waiting for that. So we're going to, you put your, this is quite a bit, but you want your protein, right? So you do this. And herbs always elevate the flavor. So use it if you have it. I often, if I make a salad, people love my salad, not people love, I should be a little bit modest, but generally, when I make salad, I put a lot of herbs because that's what really makes it different. So if you have basil, if you have green onion, if you have parsley, if you get cilantro, whatever herbs you have, put it in. Maybe sage is not the best salad herbs. It's good for roasting squash, add it on, but generally any other sort of leafy, tender leafy greens would be a fantastic. It really adds so much flavor. And I know some of you may like cilantro, some of you may not. I love it. I love cilantro. And you can see here, I just got from my garden is still sort of in works. You can see here is the little flowers of cilantro. It's like the coriander, white. Wow. They are, and they're edible. I mean, they're great. So with cilantro, again, mine is a little old. Just peel the leaves. You can chop it. You can just get a and little smaller pieces, however you want to. I like some flowers. Why not? All right. So far I have, and I use my fingers, don't freak out. My family will eat it. So the green onion, if you like just a regular, I use a lot of red onion into my salads. Okay, so this is, we're just waiting for the squash. Let's see. Nice roasting, smelling absolutely wonderful. So let me clean up our workstation. So far, any questions about the salad, about the squashes? Tell me your favorite ways of using squash. What's typical dishes do you make out of squash?
I love using spaghetti squash and like stuffing it with ground turkey and making like a spaghetti squash bake or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds great. What else? What else?
Squash. I like using spaghetti squash for like different casseroles. So just so that it's side dish and one all together. So like ground meat of some sort.
Great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Anybody's using acorn squash? I don't have acorn squash, but do you use acorn squash? Often it's used almost like a vehicle for stuffing, and you can stuff with ground meat, with anything. Some people put a little not raisin but cranberries and make it, or little white rice. I mean, it's endless possibility, but it's so good. My other favorite recipe that I often make is soup, like the standard soup. And this is so easy. You can buy even frozen butternut squash soup, and I will have a butternut squash, 2 or 3 apples, cook it together, saute first some onion, and I love with a little bit of curry powder, not much, but you don't need to. Some nutmeg would be good. And then you cook it. The apples give a nice sort of not a tartness, but gives like a little bit different flavor, right? Because squash is generally very smooth and almost like mashed potatoes, right? For me. So you want a little contrast. And I think that the apples, when I cook the apple, actually Ina Gardner, she has a fantastic recipe. So I use her recipe. And my even daughter, 14 years old, loves it. So I often make that. And just remember, like those stuff, you can make it a big batch, freeze half of it, and the rest of it use it throughout the week. It's not always think about shortcuts. And I know sometimes when you think about it, gosh, we don't have time to cook. We don't. But I do a lot of my cooking on the weekend. This is like the time that I can spend. I can go shopping and I can cook, and not even like anything complicated. This is complicated, but if I have my roasted squash, roasted butternut squash, I can quickly assemble something with that. I tell all my patients about meal planning and make it stupid simple. 2 buckets, 1 bucket of protein, 1 bucket of vegetables, right? 2 Tupperwares. If you make it, it makes your life much easier during a week to quickly, when you're hungry, to put something together. Again, nothing does not need to be that complicated. So roast your squashes. That's the message, what I want to tell you. All right, now soup. So this soup, again, you can make the butternut squash soup with apples, which is fabulous. But this one is much more like, hearthy, more sort of stick to the bones. It's a sort of twist on a chili. You definitely, for this soup, so we have the main sort of things is cannellini beans. Can is perfectly fine. We have chopped squash. Again, even frozen, if you can buy it, that's perfectly fine to use it. We have, for color, some bell pepper, vitamin C, right? A little corn for nice little sweetness. And, the basic marriage, onion and garlic. You cannot go anywhere without it. And some spices. The spices is cumin, just like for your normal chili. Cumin, coriander, that's like normally, that's ingredients for chili powder, and oregano. So those are great. And I felt very fancy because I love colors, especially green is my favorite color. We can dress it up with some greens. I had kale in the garden, so we can use that at the end. Or if you have spinach, just you can throw a handful to your soup. But this is just decoration. Not decoration, but adds a lot of nutrients. Okay, so let's make our soup. Very easy. If you have a pressure cooker, that would take probably 5 minutes to do it. I even use, actually I've been making the soup past 2 weeks 2 times because we're going somewhere and I brought it. It's a vegetarian version. You can definitely add ground turkey to it to make it a little bit more meaty, or shredded chicken if you buy rotisserie chicken for extra protein. But so let's do that. I'm going to, let's see. I never know how to use this. All right, so I'm turning on the oven, the pot. I'm just doing a little bit of olive oil. And guess what? Saute your onion. Trust me, don't skip that part because onion gets sweet. I told you, it's going to get your nice flavor. So I'm dumping my onion. All right, it's done. You're not gonna see much, but all right. I am going to check out it's a lot of.
Wow.
Anybody? But it's still not done. We
You're
still have
90
a few
seconds
more
early,
minutes.
Joanna.
Oh, I'm too early, but you know what?
90 seconds. I'm just kidding. You're right on time.
90 seconds, but see, you never know. Depends on the eye. So it's technically cooked, but you know what? I love when it's got a little bit more. Like this piece, it's nice and got a little crispiness. So I'm going to put it back. Done. And let me see. I'm going to probably be a good woman and turn my delicata to the other side. So it gets brown from both sides, not just the one. All right, perfect. Kim, put it on for 5 minutes so it's not gonna burn.
You got it.
Thank you. All right, so my onion is sauteing, it's sweating, just like I am today for some reason. So hot, like 77 today. All right, so we're gonna get the garlic. I'm going to get my, let's saute a little bit. Make sure that I follow the recipe. So, okay, we're going to add the spices. Oh, where is it? Oh, that's gonna be smelly.
Spices.
You know what? This needs a little bit more oil. And I'm gonna get my squash. Okay. I literally made that in a pressure cooker in Instant Pot, and I made even from dry, but I soaked them overnight. It turned out fantastic. So you have a recipe to use Instant Pot, and it takes few minutes. Perfect. So far we have the squash. We're going to add all the other ingredients. Oh, one left. The beans. If you don't want the beans to be too sort of mushy, be gentle how you stir it. All right, so the beans, the corn, the butternut squash, all is in. I'm going to again attempt to clean up my workstation, and we're gonna add the chicken broth. If you would make it vegan, skip that part. Use vegetable broth would be perfectly fine. Or if you've been using a lot of perfect. The colors are beautiful because you have that red from the pepper, you have the orange from the butternut squash. Okay, I can get rid of this and this. Let's cleaning afterwards. So a little bit about the soup. So right now it's cooking. Again, very nice color. So again, soups are fantastic time saver meals. So you can just make a big pot of soup and freeze some of it and eat it the rest of it throughout the week. You can make it very highly nutritious soup or stews. This one in particular, what it does, it has the beans. So beans are, they are starches, right? But they are great source of protein. So this is the vegetarian sort of chicken, if you can compare. And they have tons of fiber. So half a cup of beans, and most beans will have between, well, let's see. This one, 3/4, has 8 grams of protein, and it has 8 grams of fiber. So half a cup will have probably like 6 grams of protein and maybe 6 grams of fiber. So it's quite a bit. So if you are seeking increasing your fiber in your diet, beans are wonderful. And remember, fiber are so important for weight loss as well, because what it does, it expands in the stomach and increases satiety. Always, there are two things that are our friends, your protein and produce, because they have a lot of fiber. Not only, but so those two elements are very useful in increasing satiety. And when you're trying to lose weight,
Time's up, Joanna.
Time is up?
The squash is ready. Well, I meant the squash is ready. 5 minutes is up. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I have tendency to burn stuff, believe it or not. Now, you know what? I'm gonna do 3 more minutes since I'm a chatter here.
Okay.
They're almost caramelized. So see, maybe sometimes if you cut them in a smaller pieces, they will cook faster. If they are bigger, they will cook longer. If for some reason your oven is not keeping the temperature as you would expect, it's gonna take longer. Also, a good sort of very quick tip: if you have a air fryer, you definitely can roast your butternut squash in air fryer. 400 degrees, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, and you're going to have a beautiful squash roasted. So just try it, seriously. It's much, much faster. And you don't have to sweat in the kitchen like I'm doing right now. You will probably be able to roast a smaller amount, depends on your air fryer, but it's a nice sort of quick tool to use for quick meal preparation. So going back to our fiber and weight loss, beans are great. So your protein and fiber in one. They do have carbohydrates, so you don't want to eat 3 cans at one meal. It would be just for some of you maybe too much, but again, add that to your diet. It's great. So in this soup, as you can see, we'll have the let me see, I did the calculation for the calories, if I'm not mistaken. So 1 cup of soup, 270 grams, will have 265 calories. So very low in calories, right? And it will have 9 grams of fiber and 14 grams of protein. So quite a bit, but again, you can add some shredded chicken to it and it will be better. That's what I did last week. I made a part of vegetarian, and the other part I just added a shredded chicken for extra protein for those who don't mind having chicken. So try to do that. All right, the soup is boiling and the squash should be ready. Oh my goodness, check this out. One day they will invent, you know what, I'm just going to, and you can see the onion is getting more sort of caramelized. And let's be generous and use some delicata as well for little texture, little interest. Why not? All right, I'm not gonna put all of it again, but I'm going to save and let me turn off the oven. Okay, good, done. And now, where is my dressing? Here it is hiding. So shake it, shake it, shake it. You know who did my doctor, our boss, Halpern. She's a big cook, and we were talking about what recipes I should make, and so she made that in one made it for her lunch, and she said it was delicious, but she was like, her squash was a little bit soft, on the softer side. All right, now you can come and join me for a nice supper. We can have a mint salad. It's I'm telling you, it's such a nice combination of the sweetness, that sort of tartness from the dressing, and the chicken gets another sort of a layer of interest. Perfect. So soup is boiling. Few more minutes and our squash should be done. Now, oh, actually, for that, I have my pumpkin. Those are store-bought. I should roast them. So if you roast them, you can put on top of it for that little crunch. It's delicious. Very, very, very yummy. So pumpkin seeds are also good source of magnesium, which is, we all sort of are deficient in magnesium. Great for the muscles, for the heart, energy production. Okay, now let's make our little dessert. So the dip, so I make two types of dips for pumpkin dips. One is based on cream cheese and one is based on yogurt. Very, very simple. So for, it's a nice, if you want afternoon snack, if you want afternoon snack, this is even breakfast. Why not? Let's have some pumpkin dip for breakfast. So you want 1 cup of yogurt. And this, I didn't buy vanilla. If you buy vanilla, it's already a little sweetened, so you don't need to add a lot of sweetener to it. I love Siggy's or any kind of Icelandic. So the difference between Greek yogurt and Icelandic is much more strained. So it's more concentrated and creamier, more protein, and again, a little bit different texture. But this is great actually for anything, a little pricey, but lovely. And if you cannot stand a plain flavor, you can buy vanilla. It does have a little sugar, but it's not too sweet. So we're gonna use this. We're gonna use the pumpkin puree, just a half a cup. And for sweetener, brown sugar, which I do have here. And I would not use that much. So 1/4 cup for 1 cup, again, it gives you quite a bit of sweetener. Or if you are adventurous, you can definitely even add more of the sweetener that I like to use, the monk fruit sweetener. It's 1-to-1, it's derived from a plant, doesn't have heavy aftertaste. So this is a nice, nice sort of sweetener to use in your tea, coffee, baked goods. Definitely, I ordered that on Amazon. Really, really nice. So again, 3 ingredients. I'm not, let me just make that. So you can measure a cup or you can just eyeball it. That's cup, right? And let me on. Half a cup of pumpkin. Cinnamon, obviously, right? Basically making a pumpkin yogurt. Right now I went yesterday to Trader Joe's and it seems like they had 20 different or more different seasonal items on sale. But I am to a little bit of brown sugar. You can also add a little bit of maple syrup as well, just for sweetener. Again, just be careful, don't overdo it. It's a sort of seasonal feel good, and with some amount of sugar, it's not going to be a big no-no. Or if you are diabetic or really want to, and the way how I do with, so this is basically ready. You can mix it more, and you don't need any equipment. It's quick sort of quick mix, and you use dip apples with it, and very, very simple. You can make it in a fraction of a second for your afternoon snack. Also, you can make with the cream cheese, but usually I would use a food processor, so I would use fat-free or low-fat cream cheese, the pumpkin, little brown sugar, and little maple, and puree it together with cinnamon, and also sort of has similar consistency as well. Any questions? Actually, I was debating if I should make muffins for you guys, but went with the quick. Okay, let's see how our soup is doing. All right, so you just want to cook the soup till the pumpkin gets soft. And you do not want to cook the pumpkin till it gets completely mushy. Unless you like it, that consistency is perfectly fine. I think we came to the end. It's 7. Okay. Oof, a lot of cleaning to do, ladies and gentlemen.
It looks so good. I wish I was there. That's the only bad part about this, is that we're not sitting to eat it.
I know. Wouldn't it be fun to? I used to do cooking classes for in a community center in Brookline for like elderly. It was so much fun. I would have every week group of, I think like 10 ladies would come, and I would make them such a crazy, like exotic foods, go and shop for different stuff, just to sort of get them, they most likely never would cook that at home, or they would, but it was fun to do it and share it with them. So maybe for sure.
One day we can do a live and in-person cooking with Joanna.
I would love it. It would be so much fun. All right, but so this one, and where's my apple that we're going to cook? Did I eat my apple? Maybe I brought it somewhere. I guess I don't see oh, here it is. So we can just sort of slice the apples and dip it in that. But for just to finish this soup again, kale, I washed it. I still have to be careful because there's a lot of worms. Not worms, but little creatures enjoying the leaves as well. But I wash them. So when you have a kale, again, it comes, especially this, it's sort of, you can just pull it with the stem. The stem is a little tough. You can chop it finely and saute it if you want. Sure, why not? Or throw it away to your compost and give back to the soil. All right, so now I'm just going to, the induction oven or the cooktop is so powerful, it's quickly cooked. Did anybody would make that kind of soup? You could add can of tomatoes if you would like. If anybody will make it, please post it on Facebook.
Oh, I'm
I
definitely
would love to see it. Show it off.
I'm making it right now, and it smells amazing.
Oh my
I'm gonna make it.
Oh. All right, you know what? In my squash, it still needs a little 5 more minutes. And I'm going to just throw that. If you would have spinach, you don't need to cook it for too long. Spinach just wilts. Even if you put in right before serving, it will be perfectly fine. But again, just you can add. All right, that's done. I'm just going to put in a bowl and show it off. Any questions? Still cooks, but I'm just going to, like if I had a ladle, that would be great. So I'm gonna use this. I mean, you can see the beauty color right here. I will take some pictures, and it's really nice with a little cheese, maybe even avocado, maybe cut some lime and serve with the lime. That would be just, and it smells so, so nice. All right, I think we're coming to the end of our first cooking adventure. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, you can ask right now. You can send me an email. I will post the pictures on Facebook, and I would love to see if you do make your recipe as well. Share it with others, and I hope to see you next month, and we'll be making few Thanksgiving dishes, not the turkey, but some side dishes.
amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any questions so far? Or any questions?
No.
Nope.
Kim, do you see it? I cannot see anything. It feels like I'm talking to a wall.
You talked to us all. It was great. You're like the next the next Food Network star. You can take Bobby Flay's place with his now that he's not there anymore.
All right,
Great.
perfect. All right, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, pleasure having you. I will see you in